Hello and welcome to the Philippines. It's a news day. Philippine immigration issues, Filipinos and masks. It's finally official. They've dropped the mask required when you're outside. Um, and what Filipinos survey about what Filipinos think about that and how long they plan to continue wearing masks. Investment scam that has affected British and Australian primarily. German guy who got shot over on Panglao Island, and some resources that you can all check out to help you understand some of the visa and immigration issues here in the Philippines. So let's get to it. It seems like a little bit like a tug of war with these two dogs. There are people in the Philippine government and around the world that seem like they would prefer people to wear masks forever. It is now official, September 12th, 2022. Marcos okay's voluntary use of face masks outdoors. And this is the Phil Star News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signed an executive order making face masks voluntary in outdoor settings. Will take effect immediately. So I still see a lot of Filipinos wearing masks, but it's up to them. They do have some recommendations for the type of people who might want. If you're immunocompromised, meaning you're not very well, you've got a number of different illnesses that you're dealing with. You might want to wear and it really surprises me. They never mention medical grade masks. They just say wear masks, and still people are wearing anything and everything out there. Well, it is what it is. Science went out the window a long time ago. People should still wear masks indoor establishments, including transportation and outdoor where physical distancing cannot be maintained. The official proclamations and reality on the street, especially in restaurants and such. I mean, virtually no one wears a mask in a restaurant. Well, if you're going to wear a mask, wear a proper mask. Do your research. I've done a previous video about there are dozens of different types of masks made for different purposes. If you're trying to protect yourself from bacteria or viruses, that's one type of mask. If you're trying to protect yourself from pollution or dangerous gases, that's another type of mask. A percentage of Filipinos opt to continue wearing face masks, and I'll get into the details here in a little bit. Interesting survey, but you can depends upon how you word a survey, you can get the answers you want, or oftentimes they're used to try to change public opinion as well. But first, let's look at a resource I want to introduce you all to. It might help give you some information about immigration and visas here. Jumping over to YouTube, many of you have used JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services, and I continue to get very high reviews, good marks for their services. What happens, well, many of you know I've done a number of interviews with JR, and we've gone over a number of different questions and issues, different types of visas. They have offices in Cebu City, just across the street from Ayala Mall, same building that Citibank is in. I think it's called the FGU building, I believe. They've got an office in J Center Mall, where the immigration office is in Mandaue City, on the second floor. They've got an office in Moal Boal, Cebu, over on the west side, big tourist area over there. They have an office in Dumaguete, right next to where the Philippine Immigration Office is. They've got an office in Panglao Island. And let's see, I think they've got a couple agents up in the Manila area. I think they're still looking for an office. Not sure if they have found that office yet or not. That can help you. He can help you and has helped dozens of people who watch my channel. I get very good reports. with all your different visa issues. And they often have, when you think you've reached a dead end with your issues, he can help you with overstays if you've overstayed your visa, with your SRRV visa, your retirement visa, and retired American servicemen get a very good deal on those. They only have to put 1,500 in a Philippine bank, and plus the fees, that sort of thing. I have heard that sometimes other foreign service member retired have also been able to get that SRB. Not sure the details there. He can help you with your 13A, your marriage visas. Can help you with, of course, your visa extensions. If you're into that, I believe they have done a little bit of real estate work. They've got a lawyer and an accountant and lawyer on staff. So they do business consulting if you're opening up a business, if you need to renew business licenses, all that type of information. I believe that they get into helping businesses set up accounting services as well. I've done several interviews with JR, and many of you have watched those. But they have their own YouTube channel, and they've got lots of videos explaining various types of things here as well. So you can check out, go to their channel, JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services, and you can check out some of their videos, get some information, real life situations for foreigners in the Philippines. Facts, Part 1, Philippine Visa Immigration Rules. So, 10 months ago. One of the biggest questions they get, I am told, is can a person come to the Philippines if you're not vaccinated yet, fully vaccinated? And here's the deal. Their answer, I'll give you their answer at the present time. Their answer is the same as my answer. At the present time, this is middle of September 2022. At the present time, you cannot, if you're unvaccinated, you cannot fly to Manila or Angeles or Davao, or other international airports in the Philippines. You have to be vaccinated. Now, the Governor Gwen Garcia of Cebu province made an executive order several months ago stating that she would allow unvaccinated foreigners to come into Cebu, and there have been a number of foreigners who have been successful at that, and some who have been turned back, who have not been allowed. And it seems a lot of that seems to rely on the airline that you choose. Now, I've heard that Singapore Airlines understands, and as long as you've got everything documented properly, you've done your PCR test, whatever is all required if you come in unvaccinated. But understand this is for Cebu province. And John from The Philippine Experience has documented some of his experience, and you might check out his channel as well, some of his videos. Other people have told me that they have been successful in arriving unvaccinated to Cebu. Others have told me that they were turned back, I think, by their airline in most cases. They paid for the airline, and the airline said, nope, we don't agree with that policy, so we're not going to allow you to fly. So if you've got time and money and patience, you might pursue that avenue. It's important to, and go to the airlines are a good source of information, because if they aren't going to allow you on your airline, you're not going to fly to the Philippines. So go to the airline, and that's what John did. He checked with Singapore Airlines several times, got it in an email stating yes, they would allow him to fly, that Singapore Airlines was familiar with the Philippines, Cebu, Philippines policy of allowing unvaccinated into the country. Now, things can change, rules and everything can change very quickly. So I'm not giving advice. I'm just stating what I've heard. But JRC also, they've helped many people I know with when they've overstayed their visas. They've helped them with that, get caught up, get legal, so they don't get shipped out of the country, and many other areas as well. They can oftentimes, where you think you reach a dead end, uh, they often might have a solution. I have learned a lot more about the immigration system and what the possibilities are since I've been dealing with JR. And here's over at Philstar News, 31 nabbed for investment scam, September 11th, 2022. British and police arrested 31 people in Pasig City on Friday for their alleged involvement in an investment scam targeting Australian and British retirees. Investigation disclosed the call center agents were given retired individuals in Australia and Britain as targets they will entice to invest in a pension plan. After closing the deal, the owner of the call center will transfer the money to different bank accounts until it reaches a controlled dummy bank account. Therefore, you're not going to get your money back. Said 6 complainants, all Australians, claim to have lost 900,000 Australian dollars to the syndicate. Down here at the bottom paragraph, Ezrin warned the public against such telemarketing scams wherein investors see the amount on their account the scammers have provided. However, the money can't be withdrawn or transferred to their own accounts. I've even had a foreigner a number of years ago tell me, asked me, have you invested in such and such a deal? And I said, no, I had heard of it, and I had just guarantee just unbelievable amount of returns. Obviously a Ponzi scheme. And he said, oh yeah, I've already my balance has already increased so many fold type thing. So I don't know if he was part of the scam or just very naive. This article caught my eye. This is something you rarely see in the Philippines. Violent crime on foreigners. German wounded in Bohol gun attack. German man was wounded in a gun attack in Panglao, Bohol, on Monday. Votsi 64 was walking his dog in Barangay Danao at around 6:10 a.m. when he was shot by unidentified motorcycle riding men. Police said 4 bullet shells, 44 caliber pistol were recovered at the scene. Manhunt is underway. Now, one of the reasons you don't want to make enemies in the Philippines, and probably most places in the world. I see these types of things on a weekly basis. 2 guys on a motorbike drive up to somebody, shoot them, and speed off. And 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's Filipino on Filipino. It's a grudge of some sort. It's a bad business deal. It's politics. Um, family politics are big here. Tribal politics are big here. If a group that controls an area sees somebody, different family group trying to move in, you see this type of thing. Could be drug related, vigilanteism, but it's not just random violence. It's always somebody has targeted somebody, and I don't know why, I suggest that for some reason he made an enemy of somebody. They wouldn't just come up and shoot you just for practice. I am assuming that he probably had a routine, a morning routine, walking his dog, and whoever was after him understood what his routine was, because this happened at what, just after 6 in the morning. So anyway, don't make enemies here in the Philippines, or for that matter anywhere. And here's something that I kind of predicted over a year ago, that there would be changes to immigration. And you're an agency head, I believe, promoting BI modernization, says government ill-equipped to keep track of foreigners. And we'll get into some of the details here. There's been a rash of kidnappings. Almost always Chinese, kidnapping Chinese, holding people for ransom. A number of different reasons. POGOs, Philippine offshore gaming organizations that hire people, and one article stated it's virtually slavery. They have to work in these online call centers dealing with gambling from the Chinese in particular. Anyway, he says a system that would allow the government to properly monitor foreigners in the country is needed after the killing of Chinese nationals was caught on a now viral video, says Justice Secretary Jesus, how do they pronounce it here? Crispin Ramula said on Wednesday. And continuing on, this has to do with illegal aliens, the interesting part of the article. In his separate confirmation hearing, Justice Secretary Ramula said the country's problem regarding undocumented aliens compounded the reported kidnappings of foreigners, and 99% of that time that is Chinese on Chinese, and often they're gamblers. They borrowed money to gamble with, and they haven't paid up, so they get kidnapped, and the relatives are demanded to pay up or else. He disclosed that the Bureau of Immigration estimated there are around 800,000 illegal aliens staying in the country. Are you one of them? Are you? Have you overstayed your visa? That's a problem we have to fight, or that's a problem we have to face right now to address this. He said it was high time for the government to have biometric database of foreign visitors, noting that the Philippines has been offering visa-free entry to many foreign nationals. Actually, they do that, but they don't do it right away initially. They do it if you apply for more longer-term visas, and they also do it even on the tourist visa. Once you have stayed 60 days, you're supposed to apply for an ACR card, Alien Certificate of Registration, and something you're supposed to do, and most banks will require that to open a bank account here. But apparently a lot of people come in, they get in here, they overstay their visas, they work oftentimes for a POGO or another business without the proper documentation and visas. Back to the mask survey. This is an article I saw in PNA, Philippine News Agency.gov.ph. Survey by OCTA, and surveys are probably 90% of the time surveys are used to try to form public opinion, and you can form public opinion by the way you ask questions. You can get the answers that you want by the way you ask a question. Anyway, I would like to see, and you hardly ever see the way the questions are asked when you see a survey, so take all this with a grain of salt. But anyway, a survey by OCTA research shows that a big chunk of the Filipino population will continue to wear face masks even if the spread of coronavirus disease will be controlled, meaning they drop all restrictions, basically. I think that's what that means. You don't have to wear a face mask. So anyway, presented the recent survey. This is also probably the reason why very few reactions from people against the new policy of the president is because 30% of the adult population will continue to wear masks 6 months after COVID is declared controlled. 6 months after they say no more restrictions. I believe that's what this paragraph says. 30%. 28% of the respondents said that they will continue wearing face masks a year after COVID-19 is. So if they said no more restrictions starting today, 28% a year later say I'm gonna wear my mask. I'm gonna wear that I'm not going to wear a medical mask. They cost too much, but I'm going to wear the cheapest mask I can buy on the street. As I've stated a few times, if you're going to wear a mask, do your research. Wear a mask that will protect you against the things that you think are going to harm you. If you're trying to protect against virus or bacteria, get yourself a medical mask and only wear it once, and don't put it in your purse or your pocket. Don't lay it on a table. Protect it to keep it clean and as sterile as possible. 16% said they will continue it even after 2 years, and 18% said that they will continue wearing face masks 5 years from now. The police say it's difficult to identify the criminals because everyone is wearing masks. So can we presume that anyone who continues to wear a mask is a criminal? Is that logical? Think about that. I think if I was a criminal, I would keep wearing my mask. The WHO, the World Health Organization, which apparently the Philippines is highly influenced by, states that the end of the COVID pandemic is in sight. The fact of the matter, not my opinion, the fact of the matter is many nations around the world have already decided that. Even New Zealand, which had some of the most strict restrictions, has decided, I think in the next within the next couple of weeks, to drop all restrictions and requirements. No vaccine required for people to come into the country. No vaccine, no masks. It's endemic. They're going to treat it like the flu, and just deal with it. And understanding that there are just a certain group of people who are the most likely to get a severe case of this or so many other diseases, and it comes down to metabolic health. The UK, the US have very terrible metabolic health in general with their diets, their processed foods, and they've got problems with their health in these countries, in many countries. I watched Dr. John Campbell the other day. He was interviewing a doctor in Uganda, Africa, I believe, and they have a very low vaccination rate and very, very low deaths from this COVID virus. And they went on to discuss natural immunity. One of the things missing in the discussion, I haven't seen it discussed at all here in the Philippines, natural immunity. Such a densely populated country, chances are very good that virtually everybody has had a case or two of this virus. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.